What that was that? What kind of electric slide was that? That's like the electric slide with tahini on there. Is that? Was that the brown wobble? Cause that's not what Fox News was talking about. That's not what they had. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. Now, as a lot of you guys know, I just got back off of a vacation. No, stop it. Not that kind of vacation. And hey, you keep them feet away from me too. I just got back from a vacation, and naturally, I wanted to keep tabs on what was going on in the world, and I log in, and what do I have shoved down my throat?
Do you struggle with the way that the right is talking about the LA riots and Donald Trump calls January 6th a day of love?
Well, I don't call it a day of love.
You definitely have.
But you guys
like,
did
"That's
run
catchy."
January 6th video for 2 years.
But it was accurate.
Okay,
And then
so
they all
we
got
should just
pardoned.
run the LA riots for 2 years and
LA
hold hearings
from
then,
the
right,
90s,
Jessica?
when it really
These
happened?
riots, Jessica, because they were $1 billion in damage.
So naturally, as soon as I got back, I had to log in and see what was going on the ground.
My grandma, who only watches Fox News, she called me today. She said, "You need to get out of LA. LA is burning. Aren't you scared?" Meanwhile, this is what's going on in LA. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I got snacks. Sometimes people look at me crazy when I say I live in downtown LA. They're like, "Aren't you scared to live there?" Tell me you don't get it without telling me you don't get it. Show me a city that shows up to defend its citizens the way LA shows up to defend its citizens.
Black community will always stand in solidarity. We're not gonna get out of the streets until ICE are out of our streets, ain't that right? ICE out of LA!
ICE out of LA! Police in LA are overwhelmed. We gotta send in the Marines. Send in the Marines. Meanwhile, the police in LA. Pokemon Go playing motherfuckers got their McDonald's delivered. They're fine.
They was just on their phones. Maybe that's why they reporting so much drama back to Fox News, is that they watching Fox News on their phones, and that's what got them all agitated. Let me go back and see what they were saying.
If this wasn't a riot, why'd the mayor had to call curfew for the entire area of downtown? If this wasn't a riot, why'd the mayor beg all the business community to come help clean it up? If this wasn't a riot, why do we see videos of the Apple Store and T-Mobile getting looted and 7-Eleven? Why have we seen interviews with small business owners crying because their entire jewelry store was looted?
Huh. Now let me log in one more time. What kind of electric slide was that? That's like the electric slide with tahini on there. Is that? Was that the brown wobble? Cause that's not what Fox News was talking about. That's not what they had.
The footage is real. But the White House, for instance, posted a video yesterday of cars burning, but they were from Saturday.
Oh,
Isn't
no.
that Well, it is. If they're telling people that something is going on that the fire had been put out days before, doesn't that make a difference?
Well, I think timeliness in that context encompasses the entire duration of the riot. So if we were analyzing this like in the course of many crimes, you would include that entire span, so the 6 days duration. I hear what you're saying. It's not immediate, but I don't think it's irrelevant, and I still think it's timely. I feel like, all of the pundits and all of the lawmakers who say that this isn't violent, they haven't seen violence. It is a luxury, in my opinion, to hold the position that words are violent, like Pelosi has said, or that all Trump supporters are domestic terrorists, like Maxine Waters has said, but not see that with our eyes exactly what that. I mean, that is horrifying.
Now that's what I was seeing. That's what I was seeing the whole time. That's what I was seeing, and now I'm back, and it.
Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. Trump, escucha, estamos en la lucha.
Trump, let's be clear, immigrants are welcome here. Trump, let's be clear, immigrants are welcome here.
They were just marching with signs. Fox News done told me wrong. Fox News done told me, you know what I mean? If you can't trust fair and balanced Fox News, who can you trust?
And as Secretary Noem said today at the presser, she said Californians have been conditioned that their actions don't have consequences, and now they do. So whether you're a senator or an illegal immigrant or an anarchist getting paid to throw bricks, now you're going to see consequences. Like we just had the woman here in New York City. She threw a Molotov cocktail at a law enforcement vehicle. There were officers inside. She got 6 years. And there's been a smattering of finally accountability for people torching law enforcement vehicles. They're getting 2.5, 3.5, even 5.5 years. And I feel like these are the same Dems, too, that reclassified all of the crimes after COVID. They reduced violent crimes to non-violent, like stalking. And now they're like, oh, right, the label. No, that's non-violent because it says here in black and white. But they're missing the forest for the trees, and everyone can see through their lies just by watching the screen.
Meanwhile, now, in a case like this, you have to consider your source. We just crossed this bridge when it came to Kristi Noem, and her account versus Alex Padilla. And I asked that question, has anybody ever been found falsifying their own autobiography? That's what happens when you hire somebody who can't be trusted to do the basics. Y'all did this by not vetting your own people. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't trust Kristi Noem to tell me what color her car was. But here, between Fox News and the people that are posting, I have to ask myself, has anybody ever been found liable or had to settle a defamation case for over $700 million? Has that happened to anybody involved? Oh, it has, hasn't it? Okay. All right. Yeah. I got to go with the creators on this one. Fox News, y'all did that to yourself. And you're still doing it.
Some breaking news out of Los Angeles. We're following ICE raids around the city this morning. Federal agents are now being blocked by protesters around Dodger Stadium.
ICE out of LA! 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 ICE out of LA!
Go, 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 go! Six!
Just take a look at these thumbnails that Fox News is using for their videos on the, quote, riots. My favorite is the one with Jesse Waters with the buildings on fire behind him. That was well done. That was well done. And I know thumbnails, you probably had to pay a little bit extra for that one. Which he used to that with the whole child support thing. It got so bad with Fox News misrepresenting what was happening on the ground that people started posting preemptive videos of nonviolence just in case it's mischaracterized later. Here are the, quote, violent protests in Austin. And here are the violent protests in Denver. Now, Fox News, what you got to say for yourself? I mean, really, like, what do you say when you look yourself in the mirror? Oh, see, they got kicked out. Now that makes sense. That makes sense why they would misrepresent what was happening. They can't even cover it from on the ground because they got kicked out. Would make sense why there's a disconnect right there. All I gotta say to you, Fox News, make sure you get all your stuff. Make sure you get all your because a lot of people are aware of how y'all get down and how you guys have misinformed millions, and they won't take too kindly.
So this is what's left of our work car. We had it parked near the scene. Obviously, we got here right at the beginning before we knew it was going to escalate to the situation that it got to. This is a brand new news truck that we just got. Looks like the tires were slashed. They busted into the windows. I'll see. Our personal bags were in the car. They stole all the stuff that was inside. There are some things here. Looks like they took cinder blocks through the window.
Now, are we sure that has something to do with the protests? Are we sure about that? I saw the spray painting on there, but that, I don't know. That looked like an interpersonal crime to me. I watched my fair share of Law and Order. That seems like vandalism of passion. That's what that looks like a Fox News issue to me. But by the way, make sure you get all your people too while you out there. Y'all left the black reporter out there?
Okay, so everybody is like running off right now. I'm not sure why. I can see just down the street. My photographer can move with me a little bit. There's a huge group of people marching down the street right now, and you can see this might be what we've seen before. Oh, look at that, Andy. If you can just scoot over to the right, look over here to the right. You can see there's a protester squaring off with law enforcement right now. Can you see that? So there you have, okay, we're hearing the flashbangs. We're hearing the flashbangs right now. This is what we've been seeing night after night. These clashes, these some of these violent protesters squaring off with law enforcement. You have that law enforcement and riot gear there. You could see them with their shields. They're forming a line. They're doing what they can to protect themselves from these protesters.
Y'all heard her correct. She characterized them as violent protesters while they're standing there. You know what I mean? How many videos have I done about Black MAGA to know? You know what I mean? It's not always who you think it is. Now, I got to ask you, sister, what made them violent to you in that moment? Was it in their eyes? You did some kind of Minority Report, kind of background check on their thoughts. I would love to know what made them violent. And by the way, I hope you get back to the studio safe and sound. And when you do, hopefully you can help them with these technical difficulties. Because I know they are sitting there trying to find a way to blame this on Joe Biden. You absolutely know they are. That doesn't make any logical sense, but you can't put anything past Fox News now, can you? Huh? They really did blame it on Joe Biden? I was just saying that because that's what the meme said. I didn't think they were really going to do that.
Because you're not alone. We see why Trump is necessary, because who are the rioters? Remember the tens of thousands of men that flowed across the border, almost all entirely men. Where did they go? I mean, I guess some were deported, but most of them, they're not deported yet. So, I mean, these are the Biden riots.
Yes, you heard him correct. The Biden riots. Is there anything under the sun they won't lay at the feet of Joe Biden? And is there any line of demarcation where it becomes too late? I'm surprised they're not blaming it on Obama, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? Y'all don't want to go for Clinton? You sure y'all don't want to go for Clinton? Hey, Jimmy Carter was in the news recently. I mean, it was because he passed. That means he can't defend himself. I shouldn't be giving y'all any ideas. You're that insane. I bet y'all could somehow tie this into trans. They did?
You can even look at male trans in bathrooms. Men pretending to be women to go into bathrooms. It's not to avoid attention. It's to get attention, to act out. This is another example of acting out. And then when you react, they accuse you of the aggression.
Now, shout out to Decoding Fox News for that, always doing incredible work. Now, I've had a lot of jokes at Fox News' expense, and they deserve every bit of it. They actually deserve a whole hell of a lot more. But here's the scary thing. The people who you have seen parroting this nonsense have infiltrated the upper reaches of our government. We are up to over 20 Fox News hosts now working for the administration. Remember that whole thing about Kristi Noem, how I wouldn't trust her to tell me whether or not she had a cheeseburger or pizza for dinner last night? Just lying about nonsense, but put in charge of serious work where we actually need accountability. Yeah, that's the entire administration at this particular point in time. And it's so bad that you don't know whether it's the chicken or the egg. When they're in the administration, helmed by a president who watches nothing but Fox News, they're just passing bad information back and forth. It's like pass the soiled potato.
What?
Pass the soiled potato. Y'all didn't play pass the soiled potato?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Did I grow them in the trenches?
If this turns into another summer of unrest, what are you prepared to do, sir?
About what?
If this turns, well, the protests have spread now to 16 cities across the U.S. If this turns in...
That's what you're saying. Do I believe you? I don't think so.
Well, I got that from the Fox News brain room.
What we have is a situation in Los Angeles that was caused by gross incompetence. They didn't have the police to handle it. The police were asking us to come in. They were very late. We had to go in to save a lot of ICE officers, as you know, who were held up. They were holed up in a building, and they were being attacked. And the military went in, the National Guard went in and got them. The police weren't able, unfortunately, to move fast enough, but we moved fast.
Were these the same ones that was on their phones? Huh. That makes sense why they got caught unawares. They wasn't paying no attention. Yes, what you see is the Fox News reporter educating the president, who apparently, because he decided to go see Les Mis at the Kennedy Center, and they must feel so proud, couldn't be in front of Fox News at that particular point in time, because that's what educates him. And you wonder why the country has gone so left. Hey, also, I think I know where they got all that burning footage from that they were showing on the 5. I think that's just the Fox News brain room. I think that's just what the Fox News brain room looks like.
You've been criticized for having a double standard with the president pardoning all these people who attacked police officers on January 6th in his first day in office. How do you answer that criticism?
Well, this is very different. These are people out there hurting people in California right now. This is ongoing, no longer. We're going to protect them. We're going to do everything we can to prosecute violent criminals in California. California is burning. These people are waving Mexican flags, yet they don't want anyone to go back to Mexico. They're burning American flags. This is the United States of America, and we're going to protect Americans. We're going to protect all citizens out there.
First of all, I'm just duty-bound to say, when January 6th was ongoing, when people were getting hurt and Donald Trump had a chance to stop it, he didn't, remember? Crucially, right? So when it was happening, when he was watching the coverage of the cops getting their heads bashed in, he didn't stop it. Also, she's, I think, misrepresenting the protests in California. The Constitution protects waving a Mexican flag at a protest. If foreign flags require the National Guard, I got bad news for some members of Congress. Perhaps most importantly, the January 6th rioters hurt people. They assaulted cops with bear spray and tasers and flagpoles. Those pardons on that first day made it crystal clear, if it wasn't already, it was to me, but for anyone else who was following. Donald Trump does not care a whit about law and order, about the law, about any order other than one with him on top.
Yeah, I would also add the felonies. That would also be an indicator he doesn't care about law and order. And I just had to interrupt that, Chris Hayes. I know you was cooking, but don't say with him on top. That is off-putting and disturbing for all involved.
He's federalizing the National Guard. He's sending Marines in the streets of Los Angeles because he wants to silence any dissent by force. He's been fantasizing about this moment for years. And he's also scared of mass public opposition to him. That's why his own White House is outright lying about the protesters.
The president, as I just answered, supports the right of Americans to peacefully protest. He supports the First Amendment. But that is not the majority of the behavior that we have seen taking place in Los Angeles.
Wait a minute. Can we go back to the brown wobble? Huh. But she said that's not the majority. So more than half of the people are not peaceful. I think what she means by that, because you know what I mean, I think it's the rhythm. You know what I mean? She don't understand how people can move with the beat, and it looks violent to her. Maybe I can see how dancing would look violent to somebody who misses the beat.
I'm sorry, that's just completely divorced from reality. It's more like the opposite of true. The overwhelming majority of protesters in Los Angeles have been peaceful. You, of course, would not know that from watching Fox News, which has been breathlessly covering the protests like a scene out of RoboCop, as if Los Angeles was at risk of burning to the ground any second, banners proclaiming rioters wreak havoc in LA. Violent anti-ICE protests spread nationwide. They're still at it, even now, days after the demonstrations died down, like looping the same things burning that were burning 4 days ago. And again, Donald Trump, who watches Fox all day, is pickling his brain in the brine of these lies. The White House even put out its own propaganda video, selectively editing a handful of moments from about 2 city blocks to make it look like the entire city of Los Angeles is burning to the ground. It's not. And yes, people have thrown bricks. They've lit cars on fire. You can see that. They shouldn't do that. They also don't speak for the vast majority of demonstrators who have been entirely peaceful and playing music and dancing and shouting slogans and engaging in prayer. And those people should keep demonstrating peacefully. This is why the right to, quote, peaceably assemble exists and is enshrined in the very First Amendment of the United States Constitution. We, the people, don't wield the power of the state. What the people have is the ability and the right to go out in the streets and to yell and to petition their government and, yes, peaceably assemble. You are allowed to publicly disagree with the government in this country. In fact, the American tradition of protest predates America itself. It's part of what gave rise to America. We all learned about the Boston Tea Party in school, which, by the way, was a lot more property damage than what we see in Los Angeles. Today, basically everybody understands that the protests for racial justice in the mid-20th century, what we call the civil rights movement, were one of the most effective mass mobilizations both in our country's history and in the world. Those protesters knew that while legal challenges to segregation were part of the solution, lawsuits and the like, tangible, nonviolent direct action was equally necessary for victory.
So that was a sensational job by Chris Hayes, not only outlining the litany of untruths that has been broadcast and sprayed across American airwaves into the minds of people who, quite frankly, ought to know better. And it's not like we haven't been here before with Fox News.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
Kamala Harris has said you sounded unhinged and unchecked power is in our future. What do you say about that?
I thought it was a nice presentation. I wasn't unhinged. You know what they are? They're a party of sound bites. Somebody asked me, can they be brought together? You know, I never thought, really, I wasn't thinking like they could, because they're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick and they're so evil. If they would spend their time trying to make America great again, it would be so easy to make this country great. But when I heard about that, they were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
And we've talked about people with agendas at Fox News.
I would ask, do you want a check for a few $1,000s, or do you want a father who's in your life and married to your mother? Because if you have a father in your life, that check's gone after you cash it. You will, if you have a father, that is the single most determinative factor to financial success in this country. And that's what it should be about.
We've talked about blatant hypocrisy at Fox News.
Always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball. Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
A few moments later.
Well, he's allowed to have his view about what kneeling and the flag means to him. I mean, he's a person. He has some worth, I would imagine. I mean, this is beyond football, though.
Listening to Fox News at this point would be like waiting to hear from Aaron Rodgers to move forward with your life. Who would do such a thing? The only thing that baffles me about it is how you can be married to the particular Fox News host, but then when they end up on the wrong side of some sort of suit or a firing, somehow you stay with Fox News. It baffles the mind. The same Fox News that wouldn't let Trump on the air for 18 months in between administrations, during which time they had to pay the defamation thing to Dominion. At least do your own research. Huh? Oh. No, not like that. That's actually, that was an example of what not to do. That's why I put that there. Cautionary tale. Now, isn't there still the beef over ownership of Fox News? On Rupert Murdoch's kids still beefing over Fox News? That might be, you know what I mean? That might be the way forward. Yes. Don't even get me started with the foreign control of Fox News, and somehow they're the ones who we're supposed to trust to carry the America First message. Yeah, the America First message, funded by Elon Musk under the tutelage of Rupert Murdoch. Well done, MAGA. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you got a chance to catch the live premiere. As I mentioned last time, I premiere all of my videos, and I love the opportunity to chat with you guys while you are seeing the content for the first time. And we keep those chats going over on Patreon, where we have the community chats. All you need to participate is an account, which you can sign up for free over at patreon.com/Reese Waters. So get yourself an account, jump in the chat, and while you're there, take a look around and let me know what you think of the place. We also offer all the same benefits that are available here on membership on Patreon as well. Now, I'll be honest, I have been working a lot. I've been out here working like Tommy from Martin.
If you can't find any work, I'll put in a good word for you at my job, man.
You ain't got no job, man!
I've been making so much content that we've had to put out multiples a day some days, or as I call it, BOGO. So be on the lookout for additional notifications. Just because you've seen one video come out doesn't mean another one might not. And those of you early birds, of which I am not one, you are in luck, because I do want to try out dropping some videos in the morning, because I know you guys like to watch content early in the morning. Now, that also gives me the opportunity to put out some behind the scenes content, so you members be on the lookout for that, as well as some interviews. I'm going to be bringing those to you as well.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live!
But when it comes to exactly how we got to a point of producing so much content, so many people went into this, but I want to give some special love to our researcher on the channel, Regina. You guys know her and you love her, and here she is right here. Shout out to her supporting the channel, which, by the way, this shirt and a whole lot more is available at reesewaters.com, so make sure you check that out. But as long as she's still out here doing her thing, I'm going to be out here doing my thing. There's a whole lot more to come. Don't make me go to the trunk.
Raymond! Raymond!